Be ready. 5 seconds.
You will discover in science that the earth has a very, very long history, of which we humans occupy only a tiny part, the most recent one. Many people study the history of the earth. Some of them are trained to uncover the secrets left beneath the earth's surface and help us learn about its past and also our past. Each society and culture has had its own ways of measuring time. Major events such as the birth of an important person or the start of a ruler's reign have often marked the beginning of a new era. At present, the Gregorian calendar is commonly used worldwide. Side by side, other calendars are also used for calculating the dates of festivals and other auspicious events. In the West, the conventional year for Jesus Christ's birth has generally been taken to be the starting point for this calendar. Years are counted forward from this point, and this is now called the Common Era across the world. Similarly, the years before the conventional date for the birth of Jesus are counted backward and are now called before Common Era. For example, 560 BCE is an approximate year of birth of Gautam Buddha. Such calculations are simple, but there is a catch. In the Gregorian calendar, there is no year zero. So, to calculate the number of years between a BCE date and a CE date, you should add them but subtract 1. A timeline is a convenient tool to mark such events, as it shows a sequence of dates and events covering any particular period. It runs from the beginning of humanity to the present with a few important landmarks. A timeline also helps in understanding the order in which historical events take place. Every object or structure tells a story and is like a piece in a jigsaw puzzle. The objects that you see around your house convey something of the history of your family. Similarly, we can put together historical events through a variety of sources. But keep in mind that in the case of history, quite a few pieces of the puzzle may remain missing. When historians study, say, a king or queen, an ancient monument, a war, or some items of trade, they take great care to gather information from as many sources as they can find and consult. Sometimes the sources confirm each other. At other times, sources may give contradictory information, in which case they need to decide which source they can trust more. That is how they try to recreate the history of the period they are studying. In addition, in the last 50 years or so, scientific studies have been contributing more and more to the reconstruction of the past. For example, studies of ancient climates, chemical studies of excavated materials, and studies of the genetics of ancient people have provided fresh insights which supplement the more usual sources. And when historians study recent history, another source is newspapers. For the last few decades, electronic media can also be consulted. Modern humans have walked the planet for about 3 lakh years. This appears to be a very long time, yet it is only a tiny fraction of the Earth's history. Let us have a quick look at our early history. Early humans faced many challenges from nature and lived in bands or groups to help each other. They were constantly seeking shelter and food and were mainly hunters and gatherers. This means that they relied on hunting and collecting edible plants and fruits for their survival. Our early ancestors also had certain beliefs about the natural elements and possibly also some notion of afterlife. These groups lived in temporary camps, rock shelters, or caves and communicated with each other using languages that are now lost. They used fire and started making objects that made their lives easier, like improved stone axes and blades, arrowheads, and other tools. Aspects of their life are visible in rock paintings found in hundreds of caves all over the world. Some of those paintings depict simple figures or a few symbols. Others are more detailed and represent scenes with animals or humans. In time, these early humans learned to make simple ornaments such as stone or shell beads, pendants made of animal teeth, and sometimes exchanged them with other groups. Over long ages, the Earth's climate has gone through many changes. At certain times, it was very cold and much of the earth was covered with ice called an ice age. Later, when the climate warmed up, this ice partly melted, and the resulting waters swelled the existing rivers and eventually drained into the oceans. The last ice age lasted from over 1 lakh years ago to around 12,000 years ago. Afterwards, living conditions improved for humans. In many parts of the world, they started settling down.